Are timelines splitting? Are timelines converging? Yes, yes, yes. But I've noticed that how you look at what's happening with the timelines has a very significant impact on how you feel in terms of fear. And I have seen a lot of people just worried, really, really worried that because timelines are splitting, that they may not be on the proper timeline. If that is you, definitely let me know in the comments. In this video, I want to clear up these ideas of timeline splits, timelines converging, and bring some clarity to it. And it's really just kind of a matter of your perspective. One way may bring up fear, the fear of missing out, the fear of making the wrong decisions and being on the wrong timeline. And the other way is quite the opposite. It really allows you to realize what's happening in terms of old Earth and new Earth and ascension from a completely different perspective. So I'm going to dive in and clarify that for you today. So if that's something you've been worrying about, this video is definitely for you. So I've done videos before about timeline splitting and timelines converging, and I kind of use them interchangeably. And by definition, they're very different, right? When a timeline splits, it splits from one into two. And when a timeline converges, it goes from two or more into one. So realistically, it's quite the opposite. But the interesting thing is, based on your beliefs and how you look at what's happening in this ascension process, that could give rise to a lot of fear. I've worked with so many people that feel like they've missed the boat on getting onto a 5D timeline that they feel like they're being stuck in 3D. And that's all limiting beliefs, right? That's all false. That is not true. That's just a self-serving, constrictive, limiting belief keeping you in fear. So let's dive into what the difference is between these two concepts. I'll bring some clarity to it, and you're going to be able to release some of that heaviness that's been keeping you stuck or limited because you fear that you might be missing out on what's coming from this ascension process. So I've got my little whiteboard here, and you can see here on my whiteboard, we've got split, that's over on the left, and we've got converge, that is over on the right. Okay, so let me get this centered here more so I can be in this as well so you guys can see it. So when we look in terms of split, we see a timeline that is splitting into two. Now, when it's splitting into two, right away something happens within us and we start to question whether or not we're on the right timeline. And that could bring up that fear, and that could anchor you really to the old timeline. Okay, so you may feel like you're not moving forward, and that's a self-serving prophecy, right? That's how we manifest continued experiences on a 3D timeline. We don't allow ourselves really to embrace a 5D timeline because we have this idea of a finite split. And when we have a split or talk about a split, it's really a yes or a no type of thing. What side are we on? It's very binary. It's very black and white, right? Am I on the old timeline or am I on the new timeline? And again, that brings up that question of, am I doing everything right? And that can lower your vibration, right? And keep you anchored to a lower frequency timeline. And that creates suffering, unhappiness, the fear of missing out, all of these types of lower vibrational emotions, okay? But if we were to change our perspective on what's happening with the timelines and we started to think in terms of timelines converging, everything really changes. Now, nothing's happening externally really that's different, but our belief in what's happening changes, our perspective on what's happening changes, and that is key because that allows you to see things in a completely new light. So if you look over on the right here in my whiteboard, we've got converge, okay? And so when we're talking about converge, we're bringing two or more things together. So if a timeline's converging, we have different types of timelines that are coming together. Now what that means is you are going to be able to experience both, okay, from where you're at. So if you are doing the work, if you're raising your vibration, if you're watching my videos, if you're in my A New You program and you've been doing the breath work and you've been doing the grounding, the anchoring, and clearing through a lot of that shadow work, you're certainly opening up to higher frequency realities. Now, does that mean that you've split off from the old earth? Not necessarily. What that means is you are anchoring in a higher frequency reality, a higher frequency timeline, right into the current one. So you have essentially both available to perceive. Okay, do you see how that kind of flips that belief of splits kind of up on its end, right? And now you have a new perspective. It's like, okay, so if I work and do the internal work and I anchor in higher frequency light, what's happening is a higher frequency reality begins to manifest in my experience. It doesn't mean I split off from the old, because I still have the ability to see it and experience the old as well, but I can make a choice as to which one I need to focus or want to focus in on. Okay, that is what we mean when we talk about converging timelines. So essentially, whether you look at it from the perspective of a split on the left or a convergence on the right, it's really your belief in what's happening that allows you to release some of that fear and some of that baggage that maybe is keeping you anchored to a lower frequency timeline. When you anchor into a lower frequency timeline, you are not able to really experience the higher frequency one that is available to you now, right? We need to shift internally. And I think the belief of a split really plays into keeping you anchored to a 3D timeline. So if you flip the narrative on that a little bit and started thinking of things as a convergence and realize that both the old and the new are available to you, all you need to do is raise your vibration, elevate into higher frequency realities, and you'll be able to experience new 5D frequencies, new earth frequencies. You'll start to realize that, yeah, not only am I experiencing these new earth, these amazing loving frequencies, but I'm also able to observe and experience the old as well. And that's what it means when we talk about timelines converging. Again, split, convergence, however you choose to look at it, what's happening is that multiple timelines are available to you in any given moment. Okay, we as humans define it as a split or as a convergence, but what I've experienced with others online and people that I work with, and even people in my A New You program. And by the way, if you're interested in learning more about A New You program, if you're really committed to and serious about shifting your experience and starting to elevate into these higher frequency realities, definitely click on the link in the description for the free masterclass, Ignite Your Spirit, where I dive in and I talk all about it. I'll let you know all the details, all that good stuff. And if you feel like you're a fit, you go for it. And if you don't, that's fine too. So I'm here for you, whatever it is that you need. I'm here to support you, okay? But I do want to reiterate, when you are thinking of these timelines and thinking of these splits, and you're feeling that fear that you've missed the boat or you're missing out, shift that little voice in your head, that little idea of that things are splitting, you might not be on the right path, and think of it in terms of things are coming together and higher frequency realities are going to move into your experience and manifest in a way that you'll be able to experience that and also observe the old. This is a complete game changer. You have not missed anything. You have it within you in any given moment to bring those higher frequencies forward, to activate them. Bring it into the body. We go down to go up. I say that all the time. Get the energy moving, shift, align, anchor into the body, ground into the planet. That antenna goes higher and you start to tap into those higher frequency realities right here where you are now physically, right? It's like bringing another timeline in over the old. That's convergence. Flip the narrative on how you're seeing this and you'll realize you didn't miss anything. It's all available to you now.